I'd like to call this Planning Commission meeting for January 26, 2026, call to order at 6:01. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we get roll call?
Chairperson Tencia Vargas,
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Alex Ramirez,
Here.
Commissioner Gloria Velazquez,
Here.
Commissioner Adrian Paco,
Present.
Commissioner Delia Gutierrez.
Here.
Okay, thank you. This meeting is being conducted accordance with the State of California Executive Order number 29-20 dated March 17, 2020 regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. The public may participate in person or or online via Zoom. Listed HTTPS //us/606/web.zoom.us/j/8957-6370933 or can call 1-699-900-6833 and use meeting ID number 895-7637-0933. If you wish to make a public comment or comment on a specific agenda item, please use the raised hand function if you are in Zoom, and you will be allowed 2 minutes to make your comments. Did we receive any comments prior to the meeting starting?
We've received several points of written correspondence that are before you on the dais here from Department of Toxic Substances, Caltrans, and the California the Heritage Commission.
Okay.
And I've also been reminded that we received a letter from the California Highway Patrol that is in the record and will be folded into the NOP period here, but I do not have that in front of you at this moment.
Thank you. At this moment, we'll move over to business from the public. Business from the public not on the agenda. Any member of the public may address the commission for a period not to exceed 2 minutes on any subject not on the agenda. The commission will listen to all commission communications, but may not take no action. Is there any public comment at this time within our chamber? Being that there's nothing, anything that we got on Zoom, on email or anybody online?
No comments.
Okay, thank you. Moving to our consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Commission and will be adopted by one action of the commission unless any commission members has a question or wishes to make a statement or discuss an item. In that event, the chairperson will remove the item from the consent calendar for separate consideration. At this time, we have the item for the Planning Commission regular meeting minutes from November 24th, 2025. Any comments or any adjustments or anything from our commission? No? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for November 24th, 2025 for the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. approved. We will now move over to our regular agenda, which we have the Puente del Monte Environmental Impact Report scoping meeting. At this time, I'll go ahead and leave it over to staff for the staff report.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Sharing the presentation tonight and its purpose and the reason we gathered here today will be Troy, last name? Lawson from EMC Development, but we also have our consultant staff who's adjunct as to help Tavin in the room here with the review of this project, Brent Slama. And we have representatives of the property owner, Puente del Monte here. We have Mr. Jeff Scott. We have several folks that I see have joined us that are neighboring property owners and farmers, as well as have them introduced, but I see you're represented by the school district, and I have not met you in the back row yet. But there are folks that are here and maybe gonna align on Zoom. Troy, you have is that Terry Whistler from EMC is also online?
Yes, I
Okay,
believe
well,
so.
great. So with that, I'd probably just like to hand that back to Troy here with just kind of a structure and why we've gathered here today.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Troy Lawson, and as Tavin said, I am an associate planner with EMC Planning. And Terry Whistler Adams should be on Zoom. She is also with EMC Planning. And we are working with the city on the environmental impact report for the Puente del Monte specific plan. And so tonight's scoping meeting, the main purpose is to just gather input, not answering any questions about environmental impacts. This is about getting feedback from Planning Commission, from members of the public to know what should be considered or different topics that we should include and think about as we start to prepare this environmental impact report. I can just go ahead and provide a little bit of background from the staff report. So the Puente del Monte specific plan is proposed by the Jackson Family Investments, and it's located on 501 acres within the city of Gonzalez's sphere of influence in Monterey County, immediately east of the existing city limits. The site is currently developed with a single family residence, an agricultural maintenance facility, and agricultural land consisting of row crops and vineyards. The project site is surrounded by agricultural uses and rural residential uses to the north and south, and agricultural uses to the east and west. The applicant has submitted an application to the city requesting specific plan adoption, including a general plan amendment, annexation and pre-zoning approvals for the approximately 501 acre project site. The proposed specific plan would allow for the following development. That is 2,492 homes ranging from low density to high density housing on 311.4 acres. Approximately 6.6 of these acres would be available for mixed uses. Also included is a light industrial or business park development of 8.5 acres. Open space including 61.6 acres of agricultural buffers and 54.6 acres of parks and trails. Civic space including 21.2 acres for public facilities, 2 elementary schools, and 43.8 acres of circulation improvements. Build out of the specific plan is expected to result in an approximate population increase of 8,971 persons and approximately 307 new employment opportunities. The existing on-site structures would be demolished, and the specific plan is proposed to be developed in 7 phases over a currently undetermined period of time. Some of the environmental topics that we will assess in the EIR include agricultural resources, air quality, biological resources, cultural and tribal resources, energy, geology and soils, greenhouse gas emissions, hazards and hazardous materials, hydrology and water quality, noise, solid waste, transportation and traffic, waste generation and treatment, and water demand and supply. We will also assess aesthetics, mineral resources and wildfire. However, we anticipate that the impacts will be less than significant when standard mitigation measures are applied. And so, tonight's meeting is to just present the project for Planning Commission and the public and to consider what comments and topics should be addressed in our draft of the EIR that we'll present to the city when it is complete. There will be another public review period after the draft EIR is prepared, and that is when we will take comments and we can respond to comments. But the purpose of this scoping meeting is just to gather feedback and gather information as we start the draft EIR. Thank you.
So to the chair, you're welcome to ask questions of yourself or bring forward, or if you'd like to hear from the public before bringing it back to the dais, it's however you'd like to handle the conversation.
I think we'll go ahead and move over to public comment. Anyone from the public that would like to comment on the item? You can come up to the podium. Okay. You
My
can,
name is Vic Lanini. I live at 31950 Gloria Road. My property is across the street from this proposed project. I really hope you folks take into consideration the amount of runoff water that comes from this vineyards above this project as well. And I think it all ends up in the Gonzales Slough, and you might have your same situation you had when Fat Sea came running down and flooded the city. So be aware of that. Also, the traffic, we handle all the garbage traffic from some Salinas. You have to excuse me, I had a stroke a while back. My voice isn't quite there.
no
But
worries.
at any rate, we get a steady stream of all the transfer trucks out of the city of Salinas because of the fact that you don't want them coming through Gonzales. So that is another issue that needs to be addressed. Police and fire, obviously. And I also sit on the Rural Fire Board. And so I'm well aware of the problems that we have with our fire department right now as far as money. And I urge you to take that into consideration that you're going to be 2 to 3 miles away from your main city, and you're going to still have to be able to handle the sewage and the water to supply this project. I think you're getting a horse ahead of the cart here. There's land in between that has more potential to build up to it. And I'm not saying that you can't utilize it at some point in time, but right now I think it's just too soon to be considering this property as be part of the general plan of the city of Gonzales. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lady. Yeah, want to come to the podium? I want to take it there.
Yes, my name's Todd Guzik. I live up on Iverson Road, and probably the only house on Iverson Road. And this new project would be right across the street from me. I've lived out there for 40 years. I could deal with the garbage, deal with the trucks. We dealt with the bad road for a lot of years. And I'm just wondering, I mean, the infrastructure is definitely not there. And my biggest concern is, one of my concerns is, how long are you, when would you break ground on this? Is this 10 years from now? 20 years from now? I might not be around in 20 years, but it's, I love where I'm at. But anyway, do you have any idea when that might start, or is there any idea when the project might start, or?
The Vista project's been in the works.
That's the one over on Fano?
For 20 plus.
Okay, so we're not talking anytime soon. Well, it's a fair question.
It's certainly not breaking ground tomorrow or the.
No, I understand that too. Yeah. Okay, well,
Big-
thank you very much.
Big bureaucratic
Thank
So-
you.
So you asked, you want us to be sure about, that we take care of infrastructure, and you're kind of concerned about the timing of when things would start.
Sure, and where my property's at, we get a lot of water that comes off of Shelley D. Dampierre's property.
Okay.
Right, and so we have to keep in reservoirs just so the water doesn't run straight down the hill.
Thank you.
Seriously, I mean, a lot of water. So, something to think about. Right,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. Sorry,
There you go, Jim. Like a singer.
even better, right? Can I sing now? My name is Daniel Alvarez. I work for the NorCal Carpenters Union. So we're looking at this project, right? We often see this project come through, but have anybody see who built it? Because a lot of the people here, I know a lot of people driving from here all the way to the Bay Area just because they need to pay the bills, right? You know how bad the traffic is over here. Imagine driving more than 2.5 hours every day just to pay the bills. That's why if you're gonna build this project, please hire a responsible contractor, the one that pays fair wages and benefits for the employees. I'll be looking forward to talk to everybody, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Don't want to break it.
Good evening. I'm Joey Adami. I'm the superintendent for Gonzales Unified School District. This is my first time coming to one of these meetings, so nice to meet all of you. When I first heard about this project, my immediate thought was our families, parents of our students that I know housing is very limited in this area. I'm sure all of you know. So I'm really happy to hear that this project will be moving forward, and I look forward to collaborating with the city and anything they might need from us and our district, whether that be data or anything to support the future development of this project. So I commend all of you that have been a part of this from the beginning, and I'm excited for our families and potential students in the future.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anyone else from the public?
Mr. Scott, did you care to address the planning commission? It's not requisite if you don't wish to, but we haven't checked online yet for other people that might be so.
I'm gonna hold mine too and start singing. Hi, my name is Jeff Scott. I work with Jackson Family Investments, the applicant. My history on this particular project goes about 20 years. Been working with the city from the time we modified the general plan amendment. Worked with the city on the sphere of influence, and then worked with Tavin's predecessor on putting together the technical master plans to support the infrastructure for the growth of the city, along with the Pembroke Group for Vista Lucia. I'm here to answer any questions for you all. We're excited to be here and at this milestone and support the city. And anything I can answer, I'm here for you. So.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and make a last call before we go on to Zoom. Anybody else in the chamber? Okay, being that there's nobody else, Alejandra, do we have anybody on Zoom that would like to make a comment?
I don't see any hands raised on Zoom.
Okay. We'll go ahead and close public comment then at this point, and then I'll move into commission discussion. And I'd like to start with Delia. Do you have any questions, comments, or on this item?
Yes, the comments about the infrastructure, I appreciate your concern. But obviously we would make sure that that was taken into consideration before any housing goes up. And I do understand that like this project is kind of a little far out of where the rest of the housing is right now in Gonzales. But there's other subdivisions in Monterey County, like Las Palmas and Corral, that have housing. And obviously they take in consideration the infrastructure to make sure that they have the fire and police available to respond, even though those subdivisions are not like immediately next to other housing. As far as, I think there was a comment made saying that they want to make sure that the jobs for that construction go to local people. And, you know, I think that that's also very important. But the reason that people are commuting to the Bay Area is because there hasn't been a house built in Gonzales for over 20 years. So, of course, if you're a carpenter, you're going to have to commute to the Bay Area because there's nothing happening here. So I think that we should, you know, that is a concern. And obviously, we do want to employ people within our own community. I guess, I guess my question would be if this project is anything like Vista Lucia, which I hope it's not, because we are in desperate need of housing. You know, it's not going to happen right away to address some of the concerns that I think you've already addressed, Heaven. And that's it.
Adrian, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's early in this process, but certainly questions I have are in around some of the Caltrans statement that I see here in terms of fixing that on-ramp and exits and all that, and who pays for that, you know, how does that get looked after, and just kind of curious how that unfolds as we go through this amongst other, you know, clear actions that were, and the questions that people brought forward that same concerns around water runoff. You know, I'm sure the infrastructure plan will take care of that kind of stuff if you know, obviously not living out there, not knowing all that runoff, what that looks like, but I'm sure that will be looked after in the appropriate way as we go through this motion. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Gloria? Your mic. Sorry.
In reply to someone's concern about the fire department and police department and so forth, the city has allocated part of the land or several acres for that. And so they will be there. And the fees that are generated from the homes and, you know, people living there should be paying for some of those services. And along with what Delia was saying about the houses being built, my understanding that they're not going to be all built at once, like she said. And I also understand that in order to build more, you have to sell the ones that you have for sale. And then you build another, I don't know, 20, 30, whatever the developer decides. So it's a slow process. It'll be many, many years before the 2,000 and some homes are completed. That's all.
Alex?
So just to clarify, this is just a preliminary, so we could just come back to it like 3 more times, is it?
I understand your question.
Like if they need to make adjustments, they're still gonna come back to us?
Yeah, no, yeah, this
We're
is
just throwing out ideas?
This is us kind of shaping the homework assignment, what we
Okay.
want them to study. And
Okay.
then bring back to us, and then there will be drafts in different points, if not even some public forums where we have some workshops to kind of get into the weeds on some of these things.
Okay, so the question would remain, law enforcement, fire department, would it be covered by local or county? Such as city or sheriff, or if there's a way to put a remote law enforcement station out there?
I can answer that one right now. You know, if it's drawn.
A substation?
becomes Incorporated in our city, it'll be our city fire department or whoever our city fire services are being provided by at that point, and city police versus sheriff.
Okay, and then our infrastructure would be able to handle that, considering we have a large plan on Pinot also scheduled. Will our infrastructure be able to handle all of that? Okay, and then retail support for the residents over there? Retail support?
It's like Field of Dreams, right? If you've got a customer base, it's going to be more attractive to commercial interests. So
Okay,
which one's the cart, which one's the horse? You know, if you're not gonna, why build a store if you're not gonna have customers yet? So it's kind of a play and see there a little bit, but what I've heard from concerns is we don't want to necessarily create for new residents a mandatory commute to the other cities without services here. So that's
okay. Would we be working on the roads? The last thing we probably need is people that are already in the area having to struggle with traffic. So will our roads be designed to handle the extra stress, maybe widening the road a little bit on the opposite side so we don't inconvenience the current residences?
thank you.
Where does this put us with our city budget if it's not positive? We don't need to be in the negative with paying for whatever water, sewage, trash pickup and stuff, so that we're in the positive with the city budget. If not, then maybe we could incorporate some kind of Melrose tax or something to end up in the positive. And then the reservoirs, obviously, I think it was mentioned once before. And that is all I have for now.
Thank you. I really don't have any questions. I just want to comment. I appreciate all the concerns from the residents that live in that area. I do understand that it looks like it's its own island, but looking from the proposed use of the land, I think there's a mixed use which would probably address the concern of possible retail that might become its designated. It looks like there's schools, which I like to see. If you're creating residential in a new area, sometimes, I mean, our schools are full, so I do like that part, that it's addressed. It looks like there's 2 designated areas for schools. I understand the concern on traffic, and I think that the developer will address that. I do agree with the concern with the water. Obviously there is an issue on the runoff, so, I mean, I'm sure that, and it will also be addressed accordingly. So, Delia is correct. We haven't grown in 20 some years. This is all the beginning of a new development. Obviously, there's a lot more work that's gonna be done. Going based on what Santa Lucia, how long that one took, obviously this is probably gonna take some time too, but I know our staff and I have confidence that we will do our due diligence in making sure that we address all the concerns that our residents and fellow property owners have. So that's all I have. We don't need to make an action, correct? This is just a report.
No action, but
Okay.
probably a couple things I'd like to touch on is one is a little editorial, and maybe Mr. Slama will help with me. And then I'll kind of just reiterate for Troy's benefit and the public here, some of the concerns I thought that we need to get into this study assignments on what the EIR is going to look like. But, you know, EIRs are generally kind of, I playfully call it, you know, earth, wind, and fire, that you know, the real tangible things in the land, but you've also got public safety, fire stations, and You know, you know, the infrastructure has to be sized correctly and paid for. So companion, but it's not necessarily in the EIR, but a companion thing for a specific plan and for a city to say, we can do that, needs to have the assurance that we've built in that we're not going to tax and overburden the existing population here for the new thing that's happening over there. But that the new thing over there has paid its way, and that we've accounted for how much additional pavement is there. What are the size and the lengths of the pipes and the hoses and the wires? When does the Caltrans intersection need to be improved, and how is that paid for? You know, so with these kind of long run-ups, we can also maybe get on, you know, a state list of, hey, don't forget about us because we're going to have some housing here. Help us with funding, you know, major intersections. But there's just a separate finance component that we have to think through so that the physicality of plugging in or you know, you're in your new house. The commode must work. The water needs to be fresh and you need electricity and all those things. So having that infrastructure in the background, or excuse me, in the context, yeah, we work through finance districts. You use the word Mello-Roos, which is could be for parks and school districts and things. So I just wanted to say that for a moment. Brent, would you have me clarify anything more about how finance is a little separate than an environmental impact topic, but so important to the whole of development?
Yeah, no, all part of the project. I think you said it very well when someone asked the question about infrastructure and you said it has to. It absolutely has to. And everything that Tavin said, all the tools that we have to make sure that the city can function with the development is going to be critical. And those are things that we will look at, and we will work with the developer on, you know, associated development agreements. As mentioned, the purpose of this meeting is specifically about the EIR, which is the environmental impacts. So we will look at all those things. Runoff is a huge piece of that. Water, wastewater, transportation, all those things. It's very important. Phasing, timing, when does this project go in compared to other projects that are already in the city limits, you know, for residential development? What's the impact of retail development? Those are more not necessarily environmental issues, but certainly issues that need to be considered over the whole of the project. This is just the beginning for the EIR. So we still have a ways to go in terms of, as Tevin said, about workshops and looking more at the project itself. This is, as he said, this is where you say, I want you to study this, give us homework, and then we go study it and make sure that it's part of it when you look at the finished document or the draft document.
Great. So thank you so much. So just in a little summary, Troy, this is what I captured, and commissioners, if any memory is begged that you want to clarify or just add, please do. But from Mr. Lanini starting off, great comments. Exactly what this meeting is for is he wants us to be sure that we consider the runoff from the vineyards and that it is something to not be ignored or so to have a little special discovery of what those hydraulic characteristics are and how we would handle that. And exactly the garbage trucks, and that is the route, right? Not Fifth Street Bridge, but that is the route. And what does that mean for adding residential traffic out there, and whether it's noise or the ground pounding, that we have funding for the right amount of police and fire, because it is a little distant from the city core. And also make sure that we're cognizant of what sewer and water and those kinds of things. I believe you used the cart and horse example there. So we want to make sure that the horse is pulling the cart. I think I gotta get that right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, other concerns here, what are the same mirrored? You know, what about the infrastructure? Timing, when would it be in the ground? And also a little more clarification on the water issue was the importance for detention basins. So that detention basins are the ones like slow it down before it floods. All right, retention is like, let's capture it all here so it can percolate back in the ground. But detention is like, slow it down. And that sounds like something we'll need to know about here. Mr. Alvarez thought it important that we pay attention to fair wages and driving distance. And we'll see how that would wind itself into an EIR. I'm not quite sure just yet, but certainly part of the whole project. And thank you, Dr. Adame from the school district, about your encouragement and hope for families and parents of your existing and future students, and that you're a willing partner to collaborate as a school district. Mr. Scott, thank you for sharing that this project too has been in the works for about 20 years, just to get to this point. It had been delayed at one point with the Rianda agricultural cooler. That property had been part of this specific plan, but now has been approved for that agricultural cooler. Mr. Scott and the Jackson family have redesigned the project to have less land area, but about the same population that they'd like to hit. So just about 2,600 before and after the agricultural cooler, just on some smaller land. Let me see, and then thank you. We brought it back to the commissioners. Commissioner Delia Gutierrez once reemphasized infrastructure and noted how like Corral de Teixeira and Las Palmas, that they've done it, that they have their independent sewer and water systems, and, you know, we'll need to have the same. Yeah, and jobs to local people if we can. That's great. Mr. Paco, yeah, you wanted to know who's going to pay for these things and be concerned about water runoff. And I think your eyes got kind of big with maybe the expense that could be behind some of those Caltrans comments. Those are to be reckoned with. Commissioner Velasquez, Fire Department and Police Department, Funding and Finance. The acknowledgement that this would be phased construction and take a long period of time to build out. Mr. Ramirez, also concerned about law enforcement and fire and infrastructure, protection of roads and travel ways to not burden the existing residents and the population here. And thank you, Chair Tencia Vargas, for pointing out that there is a mixed use commercial component in this, and that would be complementary. Schools, traffic, water and runoff. So that's what I captured. Did you have anything to summarize that?
No, I think you actually summarized it very well. And, you know, I want to thank you for also summarizing that this is just a, you know, defining the homework, if you will, of go study this. And that's essentially our job. The water runoff is clearly an issue that was brought up a few times, and the garbage traffic as well, and the infrastructure. So there's certainly some running concerns that we can evaluate. And yeah, I really appreciate the comments from both Planning Commission and from the public. And this is a lot of really good insight.
I'd like to provide just a little more context right now. Is when we put out the notice of preparation that we're going to begin creating an EIR, we notified responsible agencies, far and wide, county, regional flooding agencies. And so this meeting is in this period where we're soliciting this comment to shape the EIR. It doesn't stop at 9 o'clock or excuse me, not 9 o'clock. Doesn't stop at 6:45 when this meeting may conclude. So we're still receiving letters like the several that are in front of you that are going to be us needing to respond and see that the Regional Water Quality Control Board, if they have concerns, that it gets into the study. So those will be part of the public record as well, but they're just haven't been presented yet.
When does that period end?
Pardon me?
When does that period end?
I know you had it on the screen a moment ago. Is it 30 or 45 days? I forget.
I believe I should have printed out the NOP front page. I believe it's a 30-day period, and then when we prepare the public draft EIR, and then that goes out for public comment, that's a 45-day period. And we're anticipating sometime in June for that.
And that's 30 days from today? Is that 30 days from today or 30
The-
days from?
NOP period closes 30 days from when we sent it out. I believe that was. The one page I did not print out. January. Okay, so 30 days, is that February 7th,
Okay,
31 days or so? And
just, I'm only reason asking is just in case someone from the public wants to make their
Oh,
comment,
yes,
no,
yeah, the-
so they
the-
still have time.
Door's not closed. The door's
Okay.
wide open.
Okay,
Be a little playful. Call me
perfect.
through the chat.
I mean, on those schools, would it be like one, well, we're just putting two sites for the schools, or would there be a possibility of one elementary, one junior, and one high school, or is that still up in the air?
I will let maybe Tavin answer that, or maybe that's up to the developer. But for now, with the specific plan, there's two school sites, and it's been put forward for elementary, but I would imagine the developer would have more knowledge on potential other options.
Through the
Of
chat.
course.
It's been a long while, and when we prepared the original specific plan and submitted it, we did a workshop with the planning commission at that time, and I'm seeing a lot of new faces. So I'd be more than happy to come back and do a more in-depth deep dive on the specific plan, so you have a little bit more knowledge of all the parts and pieces, the history, because there's a lot of history. We've gone through many vacillations of this plan. But I'd be more than happy to come back and do a workshop. I think Tavin mentioned that. I think it'd be a great idea. So we can schedule that at your convenience. Just let us know.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Anything else from the commission?
Tavin, question, there's additional letters that you may receive, people with questions or concerns. Will those be brought to the planning commission via email or something that we just review just to kind of consider?
It's part of the public record. I guess I can do that. It's not unorthodox, certainly.
Yep.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll bunch them up where instead of sending you four emails in a week, I'll wait till like a Thursday or Friday and give you one delivery with several attachments.
Great,
Does that sound all right?
that'd be great.
I have one.
We'll start tomorrow with the ones we have then in front of you. We'll put the electronic ones in front of you right now.
I have one additional question. Now, will this project be built at the same time as Vista Lucia, or is it going to be like Vista Lucia gets built first and then this comes after?
We could only be so blessed as to have so much construction for new housing and roofs in this community. And but the Vista Lucia project a little further ahead, and I think that one will go first. But they're not dependent upon each other. But they both have to navigate kind of some of the same waters, the political waters that will allow us to draw our city limit line around this county land area that we're seeking the pre-approvals. Now, this project differs a little bit from Vista Lucia, in that Vista Lucia also had a tentative subdivision map along with it that said, here is phase one. We want to start with this road, this lot and housing pattern. The specific plan you have right now are colors of low density and high density and medium density residential neighborhoods. The Vista Lucia said, and we're going to name, here's the street shape and here's the front yards, so to speak, here's the boulevards. So we don't have that detail at this point, but it may come along as the project matures. And maybe, hopefully the market for construction comes back very robustly in some manner. So later is the same. Yeah. But, who knows, maybe the second phase of Vista Lucia would also see a companion project start here with this one. We'll see how that goes. But we're planning, right? This is a planning commission and you're planning for the future, right? Takes hard work and vision.
Okay. Since there's no action, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Business from Planning Commission, anybody have anything to share or to ask? Oral communication, anything? No? Or no, Alex?
No, negative.
Nothing from the Planning Commission, and we move on to business from our Community Development Director.
On the other agendas, I've been reminding everybody that on Monday night, the planning commission is going to do a scoping meeting for the for this meeting, so. No, but has anybody driven 101 lately? Between Alta and Fifth Street? See anything in the landscape that's kind of new?
On the freeway,
Yeah.
the signs up.
Oh, details. Yeah, construction started on, well, it was supposed to start last Monday, but the machine that drilled the 25-foot deep hole broke. And so they started on Tuesday, but they were still done with construction by Friday. And it went up. And we hope to have electricity to it here within about 10 days.
It looks really nice. Would it be possible to have one on the north side?
What?
Yeah, because as you're going south, you know, you read. But coming north, it's on the opposite side of the drivers. So I thought, well, gee, maybe we can have another one on the north side so that the drivers, I mean, I can understand that they
You
can
know, the
read.
irony is you'd still have the flash in your eyes from the last one as you see the new one. No, actually, when we brought the rule changes on the sign program before the planning commission and then had it blessed by the city council, is we wrote it in such a way that there will not be a proliferation of these of these signs. That you cannot have another one like within 1,000 feet, and it must be on a public property. And so this is likely it unless we get back into the rule sets and everything like that. But I think it's going to be quite sufficient. And you know what's going to be really nice too? Thank you, Commissioner, for allowing me this moment. Is the way the sign is going to rotate is it's going to have 8-second commercials, if you would. One company, 8 seconds. And they're going to have 8 of those in a row. So like a 64-second rotation, then it'll get back to the first one again. The city gets one of those 8s for our civic things. Shop Gonzalez, hiring a new public works director, student of the month. You know, have you enjoyed, come shop locally, wine capital, we can do all those things. And what's fun in the beginning here is that he hasn't sold all the ad space for the other 7 just yet. And so there's going to be a lot of civic stuff in the upfront that's just going to say Gonzalez, it's in Gonzalez.
So that was my question. I was gonna say, you probably don't have anybody in line for right now. So for right now, we will be seeing.
Although I've got folks calling right now, how do I
Okay.
get in touch with the sign company? Because I'm gonna advertise.
That's
I wanna
great.
sell- I want to sell my tractors. I had that call today.
No, that's great. I think the sign is a good sign. If it's our arch,
Yep.
if it blends right in, I think it's in a great location.
And it is that green.
Yes, it
It
is.
is that green.
So no.
There's a tree in front of it. Can we let?
There's a work order into Caltrans and,
Okay.
and also that other sign that's in the landscape about in the forefront there, that's coming down real soon.
Okay.
So just to remind you that it's on a city property.
Right.
The city negotiated rent. We have a base rent that is going to be guaranteed to us. And then in good advertising years, we get a piece of the profit when it's out there. So our city manager will be able to use a base revenue, but then some years, and when revenue is really good, there's going to be some cream on the crop, cream on that.
Delia, you had.
I was just gonna say that hopefully we will see a sign that says, model homes now open.
Exactly.
House for
Hopefully.
sale.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, you mentioned that there are 8 sections, I guess you want to say. How long is each one? Is it
8 seconds.
8 times 8.
8 seconds?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's not very, that's not a lot.
Well, when you're driving.
I don't
you
know, how
can't-
fast do you
there's-
drive?
Pretty bad.
Yeah. I think there's guidelines.
Yeah, I'm
that
sure there
you
are.
can't make it longer
Yeah,
because
if it's
then you,
Commissioner Velazquez is like, whoa, I didn't see that.
it's right before the freeway, so
Yeah.
you're tempted to see it again, you can just do another loop.
And also come back and visit.
Come back and visit. No, but thank you for the update. Anything else before we adjourn? All right. Well, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at, what is it, 6:52, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds, actually.
And then do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Oh, thank you. So meeting's adjourned, 6:52. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it should.
See you, have a good evening.